So next up, our speaker is Rhiannon. Rhiannon's a 21-year-old biomed student currently completing her honours degree. Rhiannon joined KidX Plus this year and has acted in a youth leader role since that time. Rhiannon was recently featured in local media, openly speaking about her experience of education, which I'm sure she will expand on in her talk today, titled, Let's Reframe Success in the School System. Please welcome Rhiannon to the lectern.
Okay, I'm going to keep this topic rolling. So first I'd like to say, if anyone feels uncomfortable at any point during my presentation, it is fine for you to leave the room. That's okay. Now to start. Today, I would like to start with a question for you all to consider. What does it mean to be succeeding in our school system today? In this talk, I will tell you about my experiences in school and the shared experience of many students. I will discuss the expectations schools put on students, how this negatively affects student well-being, and how students remain unsupported under the current system. The school system places a lot of emphasis on a student's ability to be competitive. Students are pushed to strive for excellence by studying, getting good grades, and ultimately entering university. While most Victorian students complete their high school education, only 60% of the population will attain further certification. This suggests that further education is not for everyone. Even so, schools are held accountable for all of their students' learning, with standardised tests such as NAPLAN and school outcomes such as VCE achievement. Many of these measures, while implemented to ensure equivalent learning outcomes, put pressure on students to achieve a good mark rather than become an effective learner. With a student's worth whittled down to their ATAR ranking, it's no wonder students feel like this is the only relevant measure of success. The pressure associated with ATAR has led to as many as 1 in 10 students electing to skip exams and not receive a ranking in 2021 and 2022. As we can see, this trend continues. Victoria is also in the midst of a youth mental health crisis. The mental health of our students has been on the decline for several years, and this is likely exacerbated by recent school interruptions in the last few years. According to a recent Victorian Royal Commission, 1 in 3 of our youth are experiencing severe psychological distress. Our focus on function and success in the school desperately needs to be shifted from current measures. To be fair, grades alongside attendance are easy ways to assess whether a student is struggling in the classroom. This is measurable and monitored, hence a useful indicator that particular students may need additional assistance. A drop in grades or a significant lag behind peers are visible markers of a student that requires attention. And in education, it is essential that every student is able to have an equitable learning experience. But this narrow focus on certain measures of function also tends to shield other students from assistance. Schools are not only a place for learning the fundamentals of maths and English, but also the first place where students learn to become more independent, develop social skills, and their own self-image. Deficiencies in these areas cannot be as easily monitored as grades, unless a student is disruptive or distracting and therefore a threat to other learners. As a late diagnosed individual with both ADHD and autism, I was barely visible as a student struggling in my high school years. I loved learning from the start, but I also had social difficulties, didn't brush my hair, tie my shoelaces properly, or pack proper lunches. I got good grades, but I also had meltdowns at home, and in my high school years would sit curled up on the floor or pace round and round the school during my lunch breaks. My enthusiasm for learning masked my significant issues in school, and while I struggled just to get through the school day, I still met and exceeded my academic expectations. I don't know why my grades were more valuable than my mental well-being. Student well-being as a whole is on the decline. The 2018 Programme for International Student Assessment reported that Australian schools rank lower the participating country average for student well-being. Student well-being is drastically affected by factors such as bullying, anxiety, and exclusion. This report identified that 1 in 3 Australian students had experienced bullying. This same proportion of students reported skipping days at school. Grattan Institute reported student disengagement as high as 40% as far back as in 2017. This was prior to any school interruptions caused by the pandemic or shutdowns, and is not improving anytime soon, as 2022 reports from the ABC suggest that school attendance is also on the decline. Students that don't have their needs met are at risk of disengagement, whether that is social or academic. Therefore, our priorities need to change. I will take a moment to address the role of teachers. Teachers are fundamental supporting figures in the school system. Students often spend more time with teachers than they do with their family, especially in early learning. Therefore, teachers have an essential role in both identifying struggling students and fostering a good learning environment. The same 2018 report, as mentioned previously, also identified the crucial role of teachers in promoting student engagement, as it observed improved academic achievement in students that had enthusiastic teachers. But supporting Victorian students is not as simple as educating teachers on unique needs or providing teachers new tools to enhance engagement. Our teachers are also lacking supports. Teachers are overworked, lack control over content, and have large class numbers. Teacher shortages further increase teacher workload, and poor student wellbeing does not contribute to a good teaching environment. Currently, up to 70% of teachers are considering changing careers. Teacher shortages are not being adequately addressed either. We should not be encouraging final year teaching students to work under permission to teach conditions where they're not yet paid as a professional and yet are risking their education. We should not be pressuring teachers to come out of retirement or personal leave because there are shortages. We could incentivise teaching through paid placements rather than mandatory unpaid work, or by easing the current stresses of the current school environment. We need to support the mental health of our teachers and our students. It is our responsibility to try and make sure that school is equitable and accessible, to not leave students behind or unsupported. This does not just extend to a student's ability to get an A on a test. We have so many other values in the workforce. Emotional intelligence, creativity, teamwork, and critical thinking are invaluable in society and should be better integrated into the school system. Early schooling is fantastic at promoting creativity and teamwork, but these values are lost once you reach VCE and are expected to individually churn out restrictive essays and assignments to receive a good ATAR. So to summarise, I am dissatisfied. I am dissatisfied of our expectations of the current day youth and our neglect of their mental well-being in the school system. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed that my diagnosis was missed and that I'm not the only one who did not receive the support that they desperately needed in their high school years. I want our focus on what success can be to change. What do you think we should do to address this? Thank you.